99.7, the Fox. What's going on, man? It's E. White. And listen, soccer season is upon us right now. Of course, we're stoked, ready to go for the home opener this weekend for Charlotte FC. But also some huge news because we're the home of the All Star game, baby. We got some big things happening and big announcement yesterday, and we got the man in charge with us right now. Taylor Twellman from the MLS. What's going on, brother?
How are you, buddy? In charge, we would be. If I was in charge, the All Star game may not happen.
Fair.
So the good news is I'll be here and I'll be the voice of it, but I'm not in charge.
You're in charge of something. You know
something,
I mean?
yes.
Exactly.
And that's just me being here for the radio interview.
Yeah, no, we love it, man. Seriously, if you're a fan of the MLS, you've heard this voice before. Very familiar, obviously. Years and years in the MLS. Years and years overseas as well. You get to call the game that you love. I mean, and how fun is that? Especially as the league expands. How much fun has this been?
Dude, I'm in Charlotte, and I'm talking with you about the MLS All Star game in 2026 after the World Cup ends on July 19th. 10 days later, Wednesday night in Charlotte, North Carolina, Liga MX versus MLS. So it's a long-winded way of saying I feel very fortunate. I feel very lucky. If you would have told me, 15, 20 years ago I'd be in Charlotte, I'm not sure I would believe it.
Yeah.
But the reality is that this market is brilliant. This market is as good as any when it comes to sports fans, their knowledge, their I would say belief in their teams even when they're not doing great. I'm speaking to you, Panthers and Hornets fans.
They need it, trust me.
Right. But the reality is that Charlotte does everything. Charlotte's fun. And I just think the All-Star game, I'm pumped for the city. I'm pumped for the ownership group. But more importantly to the people listening, I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped for the fan because the fan is very unique down here, and they make it a lot of fun, and it makes my job fairly easy.
No, it's a beautiful thing, right? Charlotte is a true melting pot city.
No doubt.
You get people from, up from down south and from up north, coming down and just like seeing them really embrace this Charlotte FC team, which last year they were on a tear and absolutely insane. As this league grows, when you think of cities like Charlotte, you think of your hometown of St. Louis.
Yep.
These are cities you never would expect to have teams, right? It's a really great thing. So now going into this All-Star game against, Liga MS, I'm not great with Spanish, X,
No, that's good. By the way, you're American.
Yeah,
Liga
exactly.
MX.
It is what it is. Yeah, no,
you can
exactly.
say Liga MX. You don't need to pose it. Liga MX is what it is.
I don't want to be a poser, you know what I mean?
No,
I'm trying my
call
best.
it Liga MX. We're good.
Yeah, no.
We're good.
Absolutely incredible league in its own right and a growing league in its own right.
It is, but it's also something that you got to remember in the 1990 World Cup when the United States men qualified for that World Cup, we were chasing Mexico.
Sure.
And for years, we've chased the Mexican national team. We've caught up to them, and many would argue we've surpassed them. Their league has always been there, though. And so now when Major League Soccer starts in 96, there was never this idea that we could be on par with Liga MX.
Sure.
Now we are, right? We're still chasing them in different ways, and I won't bore you for the reasons why, but it's real simple. They've got a history. They don't have a salary cap. We do have a salary cap. We only have 31-year history. But we're the United States of America, and we do everything with the goal of trying to win. That rivalry of U.S.-Mexico, that rivalry now of Liga MX, Major League Soccer, that's where this All-Star game is very unique. Yeah. Because it is an All-Star game, but very unlike the NBA, the NHL, the NFL Pro Bowl, if you want to call that whatever it is.
It is what it is.
And Major League Baseball. This is competitive. And it always has been for MLS because it's an international friendly, but more so every year there's new players coming in. It's not Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James in their 18th, 19th, 20th year of an NBA All-Star. This is different. Yeah, you get Messi and you get the big names, but you will have 2 or 3 players come to the All-Star game for the first time ever that are sold for 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 million to a bigger club around the world or whatever it may be. That's where this All-Star game is very unique. So you get an opportunity to see both teams, it'll be 50 some odd players, but it's also a showcase of Charlotte, the fan base, the atmosphere, the ownership group. It's a very unique opportunity, and this year's unlike any because it's after the World Cup. I'm giving you a long-winded way of this is U.S.-Mexico. There's a rivalry, always will be. And that is very unique to have that in an All-Star game, and that's part of the reason why I've enjoyed it. I played in the first one, 2003, where the United States MLS League played someone not in the league, and it was Chivas Guadalajara. And the night before, in other All-Star games, I may or may not have had a few bevies or two because I knew it was an All-Star game. This one, I was treating it as a real game. We've been doing it now for 20-plus years. Every All-Star game, it gets better. It's a bigger show. Charlotte will just make it bigger and better.
You know, it's funny when you think about some of the other leagues. One of the stories I always heard about the NHL All-Star game was Dominic Hasek didn't get the memo that it was an All-Star game and proceeded to play, stand on his head, right?
He did.
So now you get to zone in with this and see like really great competition. And like you said, right after the World Cup, I mean, think about it this way. Charlotte's not a host city, but the fact is that there's so much that they're embracing around it. So coming off of that, going into the All-Star game, it's just the atmosphere is going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Scotland may be using Charlotte in their training facilities as a World Cup base. And so Charlotte will still be part of the World Cup even though they're not having games. If I'm not mistaken, they've also got the United States men coming down here for friendlies in March. You've got Messi coming here in 2 weeks. So Charlotte will always be part of the vernacular when it comes to football, soccer around the world. It just is. And now with the World Cup coming here, then the MLS All Star game kind of kicking off Leagues Cup and everything else, because of Apple TV and the global viewership that we have, Charlotte now becomes a spotlight for the rest of the world. And I just, listen, I'm not from here. I love coming here. I just think there's a real unique opportunity for Charlotte to show people who they are. And I promise you, the Scottish fans that come here to watch the World Cup and enjoy their team, they're going to be going home talking about Charlotte very quickly because they'll be like, wait a minute, Charlotte? This is amazing. We may move there.
Well, we got enough breweries definitely to
no
make
doubt.
sure they're taken care of. Definitely.
Be careful.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you have enough.
Oh yeah, you would think we would. You know what I mean? At this point, man, seriously.
Scotland is a little different.
So I've heard, man. Of course, hanging out with Taylor Twellman of the MLS. You hear his voice every weekend with the MLS. Let's shift to this Charlotte team real quick because obviously talking about the city, and we can get back to that in a second. But this Charlotte team obviously coming off of a historic year.
Yeah.
And now have the home opener this weekend against Austin. And suddenly it feels like with the momentum of this team, and you see a lot of these leagues where an expansion team comes in and it takes them a while to get up to speed. But here we are in the MLS, and we're talking about this team, really pushing the envelope and really starting to make some moves and make some big differences. What do you expect from this team this year?
They need to be big this weekend. I'll tell you right now, if I'm not mistaken, they got 4 or 5 games at home in a row. They've got to be really good. And it's been a little bit of a slow start, in my opinion. They went to St. Louis and drew. They lost to L.A. last weekend. But when you come home and you play in front of the bank and you play in front of that fan base, that can change your season very quickly.
Sure.
And usually home field advantage does that for Charlotte. I think this is a massive year for Charlotte. And because if you want to win trophies in MLS, you have to show progression each year. This year is the year they have to show the next level progression that they can not only make the playoffs, they not only can win a top 4 seed in the East, but they can compete for the number 1 seed in the East. I really believe Charlotte should be in that conversation. I haven't seen that in the first 2 games, but this home opener, we're going to get a good idea. And then Messi and company come the following week for Saturday on March 14th. And so we're going to get an idea of who Charlotte is. But I'm with you. I think after what we saw the last 2 seasons, Dean Smith has done a good job of laying the foundation. Well, now can you build the first floor and the second floor on top of that foundation? I think we're going to get an answer to that.
Fair enough. And, of course, with this weekend, and then, it's going to be a hell of a couple weeks. Of course, got the home opener and then Messi in town.
I know.
I mean, dude, it's going to be asses to elbows out there at the bank, man.
Yeah, and speaking of asses to elbows, I just follow Messi wherever he goes.
Fair enough. I mean, who would?
I don't know why I used asses and elbows for that. But
yeah,
here we are.
I don't know. Hey, man, listen, I'm not questioning,
He's texting me right now. I need to go.
Oh, man. Taylor Twellman, of course, from the MLS. Real quick, before we let you go, you mentioned how much you love Charlotte. You mentioned, how much you just love checking out these different cities. You seem like a world traveler and somebody who really embraces it. When you're landing in a new spot, what's the first thing you're doing? What are you looking for?
Food's a big one for me. I really want to know what the locals do. I don't want to do any kind of chain or anything. Listen, I've been doing this for a while now.
Sure.
I want to enjoy it, but I also want to be part of that vernacular when they're like, yeah, listen, dude, this is where you go for Italian. This is where you go for barbecue. I don't want to do the cookie cutter stuff. So that is first and foremost what I do. But I love game days. My career ended, unfortunately, too short because I got a terrible concussion and I couldn't play in the 2010 World Cup. And why do I say that? This job's given me a new life.
Sure.
game days for me, seeing the fans prepare for game day, it's still giving me some purpose in life. But the first thing I do is cuisine. I want to know something the locals do.
Do you have a spot in Charlotte that you've loved so far? Or are you still trying to find that?
No, there is. It's funny. I cannot believe I am not remembering it right now, but you will know exactly. It was like kind of like an old rundown house that was built in. I will know it. I'm pissed off I'm forgetting now.
No, it's okay.
It was really, really good. It was the best barbecue I've had in a long time.
I mean, there's some great barbecue out here.
No,
Seriously,
it was,
spoiled.
but it was one that the team gave me and was like, listen, no one really talks about it.
Okay.
And I pulled up, and initially I was very like, are we sure I should go in there? I went in there, and I was like, oh, my God, this is legit. Now, in saying that, I'm open to suggestions because I'm going to be coming here about 3-4 times this year.
Ooh.
Usually I come in night before a game, I'm out after the game.
For sure.
I kind of want to know, you know what I mean? So I need to know in advance. So anyone at Taylor Twellman on X, at Taylor Twellman on Instagram, feel free to give me something to do.
Well, if you like to imbibe, which sounds like you do, I think one thing you have to do if you haven't been yet, the Thirsty Beaver. That is like, if you have not been there yet.
You're the third person to bring this up to me. Okay.
Brother. It is.
I'm going to do it.
You have to.
I mean, what a great handle.
Yeah.
Where'd you eat last night? The Thirsty Beaver.
Damn right. No, seriously. It's fantastic. Little, small. Mick Jagger was like hanging out there one time.
I'm doing it.
People losing their minds. So it's the spot, man. Seriously.
I'm also a massive golfer. Huge golfer.
You got plenty
Charlotte's
of spots out
as good as it gets.
Oh, my gosh. Seriously.
Oh, my dear Lord.
Name a course that you want to play at. It's here.
It's as good as it gets.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Taylor Twellman, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Of course, getting ready for the MLS All Star game coming up this summer. And, of course, the home opener for your Charlotte FC this weekend against Austin. It's 99.7 The Fox.